Hey guys, it's Thor Sandalwood here today, and today I wanted to talk about planetary mantras. But first thing, I want to thank all those people that have requested readings from me and also those people that have donated to my channel because it really helps support what I do and it supports what all of us light workers do in trying to bring forth this planetary liberation that's happening right now. Now let's talk about planetary mantras. As you guys are probably aware, the Vedic astrology chart is a snapshot. It's like a blueprint of your lifetime karma. So the 12 houses and the ascendant you have and where the planets are in those houses are all just an overview of what kind of life that your soul planned for you in this current lifetime. So when we're looking at your astrology chart, that's what we're really analyzing. We're looking at how the planet's rays affect you. Now, Paramahansa Yogananda, he wrote a book called Autobiography of a Yogi, and many of you guys have probably read that book. And in that book, he talks about how the planets, the rays of the planets, the energy emanations that come from these planets affect what you're doing. Now, in my view, it doesn't really matter if it's an energy emanation from the planet or if they're just a form of divination in knowing what's going on inside of our spiritual DNA to show what kind of choices we're going to make. The number one thing that Paramahansa Yogananda talked about is that we always have free will regardless of whatever the planets are doing. However, that being said, the planets are always exerting an influence on us. Think of it like either having an angel on your shoulder or the devil on your shoulder. They're always encouraging you, prompting you, giving you impulses to act in certain ways, to say certain things, to have certain behaviors. All these are the planets in your chart, and they're all kind of like radio transmitters transmitting that to you constantly. And certain planets in your chart are stronger than other planets. So this is where the planetary mantras come in, because really with Vedic astrology, we don't just want to tell you, hey, you're going to have a bad life and goodbye, enjoy it. We don't want to say anything like that. We want to try to help give you some sort of remedy or some kind of practical advice to deal with the karma that you are living through. Because then what else? What good is astrology? Even if you know your karmic blueprint in this life, what good is it if it doesn't help you at all? Now, first of all, when you look at the Vedic astrology chart, what it does, it kind of gives you a map so you know what kind of terrain you're going to face in the future. So it's just like if you're going down a river and you have a map of the river estuaries and the different outlets ahead of you. So it helps you be informed about the type of choices you want to make. Okay? So that's the first thing it does. It gives you kind of that foreknowledge. And then the second is with that knowledge, you can take practical steps. So let's say that you know that you're in a period where you're going to take on a lot of debt. You're in a period of the sixth lord, and you have a very strong sixth lord. You're going to take on a lot of debt. Okay, well, you can actually take practical decisions. Maybe right now, when times are good, you should put money in your bank account. You should get things ready for that time where you know there's going to be a lot of debts incurred. So with planetary mantras, what we want to do is we want to strengthen the planets in your chart that are weak, but also good planets for you. And I have a story that I want to tell you guys about when I was first learning Vedic astrology. I was in a really bad relationship at the time, and I was in a place that I didn't like living, and my finances were really horrible at that point. I was in a lot of debt and experiencing kind of like a general level of misery on the ego level, I know. But I was experiencing a general level of misery, and I wanted to get out of it. And I had a teacher at the time who recommended to me, he said, why don't you try out these mantras? And he's the one that actually brought Vedic astrology to me and taught me the beginning stages of it and coached me on that. But he said, hey, they got these mantras that you can say these mantras to the planets and you can amplify the planets. And he says, hey, why don't you try them? Give it a shot. It's not going to hurt. Well, That's the thing, because it did really actually harm me when I said these mantras, and I'm going to tell you the story. So I'm a Leo ascendant. So if you guys are aware, my ruling planet is the sun. And so I was having a lot of problems with the marriage I was in. So I said, maybe I should just say a lot of Saturn mantras, because Saturn is the ruling planet of the 7th house in my chart. So Saturn is the planet that rules my marriages. Just like for every ascendant, you have a planet that rules the 7th house. For Leos, it's Saturn. Saturn rules 6th house and 7th house. So I thought maybe I need to make peace with Saturn and say these mantras, and Saturn will maybe I'll call up Saturn, he'll release his grip on me, and life will go on a little better, a little easier. So I went on a mantra discipline. I went on one of my first mantra disciplines that I ever did, and it was on my own, it was very misguided, and I said about 20,000 Saturn mantras. And I said them whenever I could, and it took me a few weeks, I think two weeks or something like that. And so I said the mantras, I said 20,000 of them, and very intense, very focused effort that I used to say those mantras. And I stopped saying the mantras and I said, okay, I wonder what's going to happen now. And I wait. 2 days later, I have a talk with my ex now, and she lets me know that she wants to have a divorce. And I thought, okay, maybe this is Saturn fixing the problem for me. And I agreed with it because I was actually very miserable at the time. And I thought, okay, I'm on the Saturn train now, and I'm going to go ride down that train. Okay, but let me tell you guys, because I said those Saturn mantras, I did strengthen the 7th house, but I also strengthened the 6th house. And as you guys know that watch my videos, the 6th house is one of the evil houses. So the evil houses are 6th house, 8th house, and 12th house, okay? So I just strengthened a planet that's the lord of the 6th house, and Saturn is an enemy to my ruling planet, the sun. So basically I strengthened a planetary enemy. And this is one of the big learning lessons I had. Because what ended up happening is, yes, I did get the divorce, and divorce is a 6th house activity. I got the divorce, but I also got further into debt. I actually moved to a worse place. People around me became less supportive, and things generally got worse all around. And this went on for about 1.5 years after saying those mantras. It was a continuous pattern of things kind of getting worse and worse and worse. So that was my big lesson on that. These planetary mantras are extremely powerful in what they can do for you. However, you have to be very careful in what type of planet and what houses that planet rules for you to strengthen. There are some astrologers that say that you should strengthen the evil houses or the evil planets in your chart, temporal malefics, because they'll help mitigate whatever thing is happening to you. In my direct experience, having used it, it did not do that. It strengthens whatever you say a mantra to, or if you wear a gemstone to strengthen that planet. My experience, my firsthand experience, is that it strengthens that planet. So if you, like me, or say you're a Leo ascendant and you have a Saturn issues, you don't want to strengthen the Saturn issues. The Saturn issues are going to be with you. Those aren't going to go away. There's no magic wand to make those go away. If anything, you just want to try to chill out on Saturn and not really think too much about Saturn, because the karmic events are going to keep unfolding on. The best way is have a good attitude. Or in my case, best thing I could have done maybe around that time would be to strengthen a positive planet. For say a Leo ascendant, a positive planet would be Mars. Mars is the yoga karaka for Leos. Even though Mars sounds like a bad guy, for a Leo, a Mars rules the 4th house and the 9th house. It rules one of those Dharma houses, or a trine. So a Mars for a Leo is a very good planet to strengthen. And in my chart, Mars is very weak. So in those circumstances, if I wanted to employ a planetary mantra, what I should have done was choose a positive planet that might have helped give me more. And what would Mars do? give me more determination, give me more willpower, help me defend myself so that I can maybe create better circumstances for myself. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. That part of getting the astrology reading is we can look at, if you guys like, if we can look at what planets in your chart should be strengthened to help you. Because when you're in a really bad period of your life and you're going through a lot, you don't want to be strengthening that planet that's causing you a lot of problems. You want to strengthen one of those good planets in your chart that aren't very strong. So in my case, it was Mars, 4th and 9th Lord. Also for me, a Leo ascendant, the 1st Lord, the Sun, is a very positive planet to strengthen, because that's another Dharma house. That's another trine. That's my ascendant. That's my ruling planet. So that's what so many things happen. So as I learn, and I've been learning, you know, it's very important to pick the right mantra for the right planet that you want to strengthen. And this is my firsthand experience to you guys. And these mantras are powerful. The mantra science is actually based on the law of attraction, or law of vibration. If you guys can think of, if all the universe is made up of vibrating energy, what a mantra is something you say over and over and over. And those words have a specific vibration that as you say those many, many times, they can influence your body, your aura, and what you're attracting into your life. So that's what the mantras do. So I've learned through the mantras, you know, what kind of mantras are better and what kind of mantras are worse. So that's the most important thing about these mantras. Also, there is remedies for Vedic astrology with gemstones. For example, let me show you guys. I got a red coral necklace right here, and this is supposed to strengthen the planet Mars in my chart. So the gemstones are seen to be like energy transmitters. They magnify the emanations from the planets. So with this red coral right here, this is the gemstone of Mars. Sometimes the issue with some of the planetary gemstones is they're very expensive. For example, with Venus, it would be diamond. For Mercury, it's going to be emerald. For the Sun, it will be ruby. And some of those things, you know, I can't afford them, so I go with the mantras. The only thing about the mantras is they take a lot of work and effort. And a lot of people, they don't have the time, the patience, or even the karma to be able to say those mantras for long enough to make an effect. That's the issue too, is a lot of times just saying, you know, one mala of mantras is not enough to do what you need it to do. It's a sustained activity that you need to do over time. So with mantras, the greater the number, the greater the effect, because the vibrations, you know, influence your chakras, your aura more. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to share with you guys my experience with the planetary mantras and give you my personal testimonial. And also thank you guys for watching my videos. It's been a lot of fun for me to make these videos and to share with you guys my chart reading, what I can do, but also my interpretation of the charts. Sometimes astrologers, they don't agree on everything. So there is room for the astrologer to look at a chart. There's rules, but there's also a lot of room with, you know, judging a chart. And that takes wisdom and that takes time. That's something that's not just anybody can learn the rules of astrology and do it. It takes wisdom, time, experience to be able to interpret those charts. Anyways, if you guys have any comments, please comment down below. Also, thank you for watching this. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for the notifications so you know when I'm making another video. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.